how do you, as a family man, kind of talk to your wife? How does she feel about things? And as well as maybe your kids, if they ask questions. I have a wife who likes to scroll the internet and read every news article and then be terrified.
Minimize the noise. It's the same security principles that we've always been harping. Keep your head on the swivel. And I think the biggest thing is the fear, the paralyzing fear that comes through the news waves. It's not by coincidence, it's by design.
Welcome to Time to Head North podcast. I'm here with my boy Denny, who is the host of Security Halt Media, Security Halt podcast, and the owner of Security Halt Media. Security Halt Media, correct?
That's right, man.
There it is. Man, I always love talking to you, but I think I wanted to have a conversation today just kind of about what's happening around the world.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like, how do you, as a family man, kind of talk to your wife? How does she feel about things? And as well as maybe your kids, if they ask questions. I have a wife who likes to scroll the internet and read every news article and then be terrified. You know what I mean?
No.
I myself don't really feel those kind of pressures based on whatever, right?
I wonder why. Something to do with our background.
Right. And then, my kids have a lot of questions and I try to answer them, and then I have the thought of, I have a 6-year-old son who's turning 17 soon. He spoke about joining the military. He was talking potentially trying to get into the 19th group here. And so,
wow.
Oh man, I'm like, let's do it, bro.
Yeah.
but, just curious. I would love to hear from another person who has a lot of experience with this, who has a family, and sees the world, kind of the geopolitical kind of tension that's going on all over the place. And so, welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, dude. It's an important conversation to have, man, because, as veterans, we're divided on this, man. Everybody's got their own opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. But so, tell me what's going on. What in your group of friends? What are you seeing? What are you seeing as in? And the reason why I want to do this, for the audience that might be in the same boat as us, I'm looking for the audience member that's looking for answers and looking for how should they feel about this, right? And so I'm curious, in your circle, what are you seeing right now in some of the tension in your fellow veterans and other people in your circle?
Well, man, the biggest thing on the plate right now, and you said it, it's Iran, dude. We're absolutely involved in this conflict, and whether you like it or not, we have service members now, and pretty soon we'll have boots on the ground. And that is for anybody that's served and been a member of the proud club of being in the GWAT. It comes with a lot of weight. It comes with a lot of stress. You're worrying it, and a lot of us put ourselves back in that place where we're at as young kids going over there. But I will say the first thing to think about is, dude, minimize the noise. Like, you're not going back there. I'm not going back there. What can we do? Stress over it. And I think the biggest thing is the fear, the paralyzing fear that comes through the news waves when you start hearing things about insider threats, or there's been X amount of terrorists that are confirmed in our borders, because those are some of the first few texts I got. Like, where are the places we shouldn't be at? And I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. You're hearing things on X News or Fox News, MSNBC. And reality is, it's the same security principles that we've always been harping. Is like, if you're going to go to the urban setting, if you're going to go to Atlanta, if you're going to go to Chicago, hey, keep your head on the swivel. Understand what travel advisories are out there. Am I going to go to Iran, UAE right now? No, not if I don't. Not if I don't have to. Not if I'm not going there for a working capacity. Like, avoid those places. Avoid any of those areas. And we already saw it. The first virages that are going after our bases in that region. So, if my heart's out and you're in my mind, if you're a contractor, if you're in the defense department and you find yourself in those areas, like, man, dangerous time, dangerous places to be right now. But by and large, the civilian populace here in the United States, what you should be worried about, just like you should be worried about a few months back, is if you go in those big major urban areas, keep your head on the swivel. Like, we already know that it might not be a terrorist threat. It just might be a loony that's out there. But that's everyday preparedness, being aware.
Yeah, I think, the foundational awareness level is already been high because the way society has been going. I don't feel the need to be any more heightened. Just continue to be prepared. I'm always, especially like in church and environments like that, I'm always thoughtful of the possibility of being a target, because those have been targets. I carry concealed. I roll with the fanny pack with,
Oh yeah, bando
robot.
bag, overly stock. Shout
Yep.
out, shameless plug.
I got the same bag, dude. That's the same bag. You know what I mean? I'll go grab it in a second. Like shameless, absolutely, right?
Yeah,
I have the XL, right? A little bit bigger, a couple
yeah,
more things to put
yeah.
in that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yes.
So it's like that's how I'm prepared. I had talked to my wife, said I know I look a little bit like a dork, but I'm ready. So
Dude, you just brought up a good point, man. I'm a man of faith too, going to church. If you're somebody that's capable, if you practice, and again, if you practice, if you work through this, if this is part of your livelihood or part of one of your hobbies, you go out there and you're proficient and you train. When you're going to church, volunteer. Be willing to be one of those guys that sits on the edge and protect everybody else. If you're capable, and that's again, for those out there that aren't, but would like to, find ways to enhance your readiness. Be willing to pay a little bit out of pocket to train with somebody that's reputable, that can train you in the right skill sets. Because now more than ever, there's tons of people out there that build themselves as X, Y, and Z, and you're spending tons of money for, running around looking goofy. So do your research, get trained. But it's not just about being ready with a firearm, right? First aid. What do you
yes,
do? And we just saw this play out in one of our major campuses. Like individuals that were ready, and then they put themselves in the line of fire to protect the rest of the individuals in that classroom. And those guys, like, excellent job. It's unfortunate and it's heartbreaking that a service member, a man who dedicated his career to teach the next generation of leaders, has now been taken from us. But thank God, in that hall, in that school, there were some American patriots that were willing to stand up and do something. And that just goes to show you, man, you don't have to be armed. You just have to be willing to find the courage to step up and do something when the opportunity presents itself. And how do we do that? We practice, we go out there, we train, but more importantly, we have the right mindset. We're not looking for that fight. We just understand that if we're capable, if we're trained for that moment, we know we're gonna act. We're gonna do accordingly. And thank God those young men, those individuals did exactly that, man. That's something that we should all be focused on. Like we should be rallying around those young men that acted and did something heroic. And like that's the type of people we want to be surrounding ourselves with. Like,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to take my sons to the range a little bit more,
yep,
trying to get them a little bit more comfortable. And then there's two thoughts of like my kids are both very healthy, have a very good community
yep,
around them, very I would say involved in sports and whatnot. So I felt comfortable that getting them to understand the capacity of a pistol and a rifle would be a good space for them.
yep,
If in the event I had a son that might not be as so publicly comfortable or kind of an insider, I probably would not introduce it to him because it'd be like, okay,
yeah,
well, I don't want, he's a little bit
yeah,
of a learner. Those signs, and it's crazy to say, but those signs make me, I have to be very cognizant about those things, my kids don't struggle with depression or anything like that. So I felt very confident getting them some training. But that's a thought before I even allowed them to. I'm like, are they in a good mental space to even learn a
yes,
you
yep,
know? And I think there's not a lot of people who think like that. I think they should be more cognizant, like, is this a person who should even carry a pistol? Right. And so that's another thing I've always said. I'm more fearful of the individual who carries a pistol that doesn't train than I am
absolutely,
this, because that's another liability out there. Right.
yeah,
And so, but yeah, all that to say is like, I try and come to the world prepared, and to as prepared as I can be for what I'm capable of doing, but it's also keeping my family in a good, safe place. It's not this doom and gloom mentality of always thinking of the worst, but always being more prepared for in the event that the worst does happen, I am prepared for that as well.
yep,
And I'm very comfortable in that mindset. I think there's some people who are not from where we're from, or not, from those groups. I think would look at us and say, like, you what are you so worried about? It's the absolute
yeah,
opposite, right? It's the absolute
yeah,
opposite. Like, no, I'm not worried about it, but I am prepared in the event that it does.
yeah,
And
dude.
so I would hope that more people take that approach than being more of a reactive person and hoping that they survive the circumstance or whatever happens.
Man, so many thoughts on that. Man, we all have, I think all of us that have served have that one family member. And Vicky, I love you, calling you out, my cousin. She's amazing, wonderful woman. But she we talk about this a lot. She's always reaching out. I was like, hey, should I be scared? Should I be sport? And I'm like, Vicky, no, absolutely not. You continue driving your mission, taking care of your boys, living your life, being happy. Just understand that every day you drive, going to work, you should be 100% prepared to do what you need to do in case of emergency. That's a bigger thing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be paralyzed to walk out my front door thinking about what's going to happen with a hypothetical, theoretical terrorist strike.
Yeah.
But no, like I should be, hey, have I trained enough? Have I got enough sleep? Am I being an honest broker of like, hey, have I gone to the gym?
Yes.
Am I really physically fit to where I can help support somebody? Do I have a go bag in my car that can reasonably help somebody if they're hurt? Because the chances are that you're gonna actually react to a car accident long before you ever react to an active shooter situation. And
Yes.
it's happened to me. I've had to help an individual get out of a really nasty car accident. And the first thing I did was get in my car, grab my little medical bag, bring in, and get to work. And man, I tell you, more people need to have that mindset because we've all been driving around. We've all been the onlooker of like, oh man, it's a nasty car accident. Someday, the reality is it could be you responding, helping somebody in their moment of need. And that's the one thing. Shameless plug to Prep 'em Wild, that's an easy medical kit you can have in your car.
Oh, I
Ready
have
to
to look
go.
at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to
Ready to
check that
go.
out.
Help somebody out. Or you go in hiking. Everyday things happen, man. And if we're not taking the ability, just watch a YouTube video to be prepared to apply a bandage, to be prepared to apply a tourniquet. Like it doesn't have to be these crazy things. Like it's out there.
Yeah,
Like
you
life
just
comes at you fast.
you bring up a good point that I sometimes forget is that like my wife goes hiking sometimes when when I'm at work or whatnot, and I never thought to have her have put some kind of medical kit in her bag.
Yeah.
And in which you even be able to use any of it in it. You're right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's something, but the other side of it is like I hope that someone's able to stop for what if one of my kids gets in a car accident? I hope there's someone out there like me that was willing to stop and help and support. And so,
Yeah.
that's another thought of mine is like, I just hope there's good people out there that are trained and ready to help in a moment's notice.
It's a reality that most people just don't think about really. Like I said, we can all identify driving down the highway or your local city or town and seeing that car accident and just being like, oh, I hope they're okay. Hey, someday it's going to have to be you saying, I got to pull over. I got to do something.
Yep.
Like
Absolutely.
it's going to happen. Like or I shouldn't say it's going to happen. The chances are more likely that that's a situation you're going to find yourself in versus, the situation of an active shooter in your school, in a mall. I mean, just be ready. It doesn't always have to, and it's, dare I say, it could be fun to go train and find yourself doing something outdoors, getting ready. Because the bottom line is some of these courses, some of these individuals you'll find in this space, they're actually really informative and it can be a really good time to take your family. Being ready doesn't just have to be this thing where it's just like the guy that's out of the military, sitting in his house, cleaning his gun, working on his medical kit and his bug out bag. No, take a weekend, take your family through a wildness preparation course, learning how to take care of each other if you sprain your ankle on the hike. Because being active is fun, but it comes with a lot of risk. Be willing to at least be trained in how to mitigate some of that.
Yeah, man. I think that's funny you say. We used to go camping and I try and teach them how to like start a fire and stuff like that. And it's like, that's what the Boy Scouts used to have. I didn't have that as a kid. They don't really have it anymore these days. You know what I mean? So those little things that we kind of forgot or almost a generational jump, we've missed that in some of our kids that we have to be the ones that now do it for them.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier.
Oh,
Sorry, you mentioned earlier about some of the thoughts and the fears of potential like sleeper cells that are in America.
Yeah.
Is it? And I asking this because my wife, but does your wife ever see those posts and just ask you like, is this something we should be worried about?
Well, see, that's where it's different for me because my wife is still active duty. So my wife is to the point where like she's gotten to a point in her career where it's like she's far enough into the weeds and stuff where it's like I know for a fact, and it's very like it's business stays at work for my wife, so, and it's like, yeah, I don't ever have that. It's almost the opposite where I'm like, if I see something that looks credible, because now I've gotten to a point where I've got friends that are doing the intel dumps on social media, some of those bigger accounts, Alcon Intel, um, H&M Intel, and I'll see those reports because those guys, they're prior, intel, and they're putting together
Yeah.
really good briefs. So I'll read those and I'm like, wait a second. I don't have access to the skiff anymore. I don't have access to any reporting. And I look at my wife, she was just looking at me like, I'm not giving you anything, dog. Like,
Well, you should look at the North Group wants a really good intel
yeah,
brief that they post about once a week now on LinkedIn. So that's another place you can guys look at. They have a really cool intel team, and so it's been
yeah,
really really fun to be able to read those. And same for me. The only contact I have my friends who post, and I'm just trying to find them all and just kind
yeah,
of stay up to par with all of them. Someone posted that, and my wife, she is the farthest removed from military. Her father was Air
yeah,
Force, but she just stays out of it. So she's concerned about everything. She sees it all, and she's scared. And I laugh because I'm like, man, if you don't see me nervous, you shouldn't be. But okay. But
yeah,
she read the concerns, and now she's scared of travel and scared of flying. And I imagine she's not the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of people. And I try and get through to her, like, in the end of the day, the way I see it is, there's nothing we can control. Like, you can't control
yeah,
any of it. And I'm also not going to live like as a hermit in my house, scared of the world. So that's not going to happen either. So
yeah,
we just got to be prepared for it, right? But I'm just curious, like, there's so much of I would say, cognitive warfare that's happening these days, right? Some of the terrorism that is happening is through the media and
yes, it
through the
is.
messaging, and so we're crippling our own people by allowing so much messaging to happen that just likes to lean on people's emotions and their fear. And it's like I said, it's almost crippling for my wife that I have to tell her, hey, stop reading that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Work on your algorithm. Get that stuff out of there. The doom and gloom is real, and it will. Like, it's no, man. We have scientific evidence. We have proof that this stuff leads you down the pathway to rumination, depression, anxiety. You have to remove it. I'm not saying to bury your head in the sand, but I am saying if this thing finds out that you're going to stay engaged on that type of content, it's going to continue feeding it to you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to pause and be like, hey, go outside, walk, get some air, get some sunlight on. No, it's not going to do that. So it's up to us. We have to look at what we engage with and stop. Limit yourself. If you can't do it, your phone can do it for you. Set those time locks, man. Do it for your wife. Do it for your friend that's like really deep into it.
I'm gonna mess with their algorithm for a little bit. My right now is baseball and sourdough.
Nice. That's not
Yeah,
too bad. That's not too
yeah.
bad.
No,
Mine's
I gotta get her.
constantly memes.
Yeah, music good too. Yeah, man, it's an interesting time in our world. Like I said, I've tried to kind of expose more of the cognitive warfare that's happening these days, and watching like the stuff in Iran
Yeah.
and seeing how politically people are getting divided left and right, and it's just kind of tearing our own community. We've seen our own community go at it, right? The
Bro.
people that all of a sudden they're jumping in there saying, they love Israel and others they hate Israel, and it's turning into this big old massive thing where guys who in our community who originally were probably aligned similarly with film, television, or
Yep.
business, when not, and now people are going at each other in a different way, and it's wild to watch. It's wild that we can't have our own opinions. It's wild that we can't just have like an open thought, but as well as it's wild that we feel the need to project our beliefs onto people, and if you don't agree with me, then it's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy world we live
It
in.
is.
I think, and I'm gonna say this before you speak, I think this is part of a bigger cognitive warfare, campaign. I really believe this is what's happening and what we're seeing daily on social media is intentional, to some degree, by some higher level of intelligence, creating this, division in America just on the way we receive information.
Information operations, you're 100% correct, man. And it's something that you have to be really careful when you talk about this.
Yeah,
How
I
you
do.
say it.
Yeah.
I might be removed from operations, but the reality is it's not by coincidence. It's by design. It's 100% by design, and we have to be able to push through it. And I think the greatest thing you can do, the biggest ally in this fight is to remove yourself from the news cycle. Remove it from your phone. Again, be informed, but be strategic about where you're getting your news. And don't believe the hype. The messaging wants you to feel like there is imminent threat right now, right now, right now, right now. I won't go into details as to why and why it's important to keep you in that fear cycle. But the reality is, in your community, where you live, you're not in danger. You're in danger maybe if you go at certain spots in your town, if you go to certain seedy areas at night, the threat level goes up a little bit. But by and large, the big fear of something impending and some horrible that other shoe is about to drop, it's fabricated. It's not there. I flew through Chicago. I flew this entire past week.
And you
Was,
live?
yeah, and I was exhausted. And, I will tell you this. There was no danger. At no point did I feel that ISIS presence was gonna, a malice entity coming down on me, checking for papers or anything like that. No, you make it through security. You go through multiple levels of security to get on the other side, to get to the terminals. You're going to be fine. I think it's unfortunate that we had this airline crash in New York, but a lot of people, and instantly, the moment it happened, what did you see in those posts, in those engagement? Is it an attack? What's going on? Because of the location, because of what happened, nobody stopped and said, all right, let's figure things out first. Before we start posting, before we start sharing it, let's figure out what happened. It was an unfortunate event. It was a horrible situation. But the moment that it's a location that has a historical context to it, and because of it at an airport, you started seeing people start jumping to conclusions. And it's like, man, calm down, folks. Let the situation develop. Yeah.
Yeah, we're so fast to try and put it out there and not decipher it ourselves first. That's why, like, when something happens online, I mean, I'm not one of the. I'll say this. I've cultivated a space where people don't expect me to have a response immediately. Right?
Yes, dude. Yeah.
There's a lot of influencers, right, who feel the need to give their explanation or give their take on things. And I've never wanted to create a social media platform that was driven by that.
Same.
Love you too. And so, if my daughter, she always walks by and blows kisses. And so I wanted to cultivate a space where, like, I could just have genuine discourse, and and in my world, I don't feel the pressure to give an explanation for anything. I'm a really big name in the immigration conversation. I still don't touch it very often because it's so divisive. Like, I'll let it continue to go here, but I have my opinion on it, and I've been writing a book about it, and when that drops, that's when you'll hear it.
Yeah.
But people tend to create platforms where they feel the need to interject their opinion, which is perfectly fine. But then what comes with that is the other stressor of the counter, and I never want to be someone who created that kind of conflict for myself.
Yeah.
And that is what I've been watching, is something pops up and these people need to pop up and say something, and it's turned into, like I said, it's loud noises going on social media where I have to be like, I don't know if I want to follow anyone these days, because it adds to the stress of everything else that's going on in our world.
Yeah. It's, to me, it was never, I understood. So if you look at the analytics, if you look at numbers, I understand why people do it.
Oh, yes.
You're going to get a lot more traction talking about the latest rage bait and get rage clicks and engagement through the roof, and you'll get your plaque. But what, are you able to go to sleep at night? Are you able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a decent human being doing something good? What's the end all game? I will tell you right now, it's been a hard hill to climb to champion veteran mental health and positivity and doing the best thing you can, which is to be a good husband, a good father. But you will never catch me pivoting for that, because at the end of the day, that message from somebody that says, hey man, I tuned in and you kept me from doing something really horrible, that's a win. That is a win. If I went the other way, if I just championed that as the greatest thing I could ever achieve, as the end all be all, if I went out there and just looked like a jackass running and gunning and trying to pretend like I'm still relevant in that space, sure, I could get a couple more thousand likes. But what's it for? What's the substance? What's it really doing? It's not of service to anybody. At the end of the day, we all chose to do this because we believed in a greater cause. We wanted to be of purpose and to help somebody out. And we can all do that still. being prepared, being ready, being able to analyze the news and give it an honest broker feedback from your days when you were relevant warrant officer, and be able to say, hey guys, this is not data. This is rage bait. Vicky, don't listen to this. You're safe. Be that good individual. You still have that sound mind to discern what's real and what's not. And I will tell you right now, that's something all of us can do. Put your friggin', your service member uniform back on. And when you look at news, be able to discern if it's real, if it's something you would actually get from an S2 brief, or if it's something that you can tell your family members like I do for my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. Hey guys, walk away from Fox News. This is not relevant. This is just rage stuff. Like, oh, okay, thank you. I think we forget how much our say really factors in for our family members, because they still see it as like, oh, they know.
Yeah.
Use that influence to get them to not be so stressed out. That's something we can all do, man. That's an important thing. Like, and that to me seems like the best thing that I can do. And this, like, for the platform that I've created, like if I can get people just to not be focused on the negative for one day, that's a win, dude.
Yeah. I close that out with saying, go outside with your kids and spend time with them.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. Just shut off the internet, shut off the Facebook, shut off the phone, go outside, spend time with your kids, enjoy a nice meal with them, get physical. And that'd be the best way to just relieve yourself from the stress of the world. Worry about this circle of influence that you could actually impact.
Dude, yes. That's all you can. And I will tell you, man, like the greatest thing that I've been able to really like focus in talking to people that are dealing with that real rumination and stress of what's going on in the real world is exactly that. Like, hey man, what can you affect today? What if you could just be a good person today? And by being a good person, by focusing on the interactions that you're having with other people, you can influence them to also be a better person, to have a better day. Like, that's a very micro level focus that can actually make you feel better. Like, it's not that far off. If we can all just choose to focus on our immediate community, our family, our friends, and just be a good dude, be a good human being, watch how much of an impact you have. Every interaction with a human being that you have today, can go one of two ways. You could choose to be a dick, you can choose to be a grumpy person, or you can be a good person. And that pays off. It pays off in dividends, man, because maybe that person is having a crummy day too. You held the door open for them at the gas station. Now they're going to be in a better mood because you had a good, positive interaction with someone. That's real. That really does factor into the day. You can be a better person today. Go help somebody else out.
Love it, brother. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, man. You guys go check out Denny at the Security Halt podcast, and also Security Halt Media, where he has multiple other podcasts, correct?
That's right.
And anything else you want to give to the audience, go ahead and do it right now, man.
Dude, I appreciate it. Check out the Asset Mindset. That's season 2 of that show. Proud to produce it. Check out Broken Brains, Dan Raymer podcast. If you're looking for anything in analytics and the streaming media world, go there. I'm proud to produce those shows. Keep them out there in the ecosystem for you guys, because I think that everything I bring to the world is authentic, impactful, and purpose driven. That's what I like to do. If you're trying to do something like that, hit me up, because I'm trying to bring more shows in 2026.
You might have to take over the Vinny Rock podcast, bro.
Dude, come on board, bro. They just got done doing our analytics for the year, and we're doing pretty good over here. Looking to hire some more folks.
Thanks again for joining us on Time to Head North podcast, brought to you by the North Group. You got to go check out the North Group for some security intel. They post it every day on their LinkedIn, so go check it out if you guys have any questions. See you guys later.